Honestly, what did you first think when you got the request to write a concerto for choir and piano?
Wow. Well, first I thought that's probably never been done before. And then I went to look for other concerti for choir and piano, and lo and behold, I found no others, which always presents a challenge as a composer to be one of the first people, perhaps the first person to write for a particular instrumentation. But I thought it was a really interesting concept. The notion of sort of upending the relationship between the chorus as the primary actor and the piano as accompaniment to reverse that dynamic and have the piano actually be the primary actor and the chorus act in a more accompanimental role, I thought was an interesting way of kind of disrupting that society.
How did the piece change from where you started to where you landed, the version everyone is going to hear?
Initially, I had chosen a text for the piece and was composing around that text. And what I started to discover as I got further along in the compositional process was that in order to make the piano feel like the primary instrument, I was withdrawing from the text because the text tended to get in the way of the piano feeling like it was the soloist. In a concerto, you want the soloist to really feel like the soloist, and while it's important, obviously, as in a great play, to have great supporting cast, to have the two sort of competing so directly presented challenges in making it feel like a true concerto. So ultimately, I decided to remove the text entirely and replace it with nonsense syllables and vocal articulations as a way of giving space for the piano to really express its soloistic and virtuosic properties.
Question 3. How did you approach the task of making human voices sound like orchestral sections?
So once I removed the text from the piece, I had to figure out a way for the voices to become the instruments of the orchestra. And the way that I approached doing that was trying to map the sounds that the human voice can make onto the instrumental sections that already exist. So in each movement, the voices are imitating a different section of the orchestra, and the sounds that they're making with their mouth reflect the types of sounds that these instruments would make. So in the second movement, for example, which is the, quote, percussion movement, where the chorus is imitating the percussion section of the orchestra, I have the chorus making percussive sounds, those kinds of unvoiced, unpitched sounds. For the final section, the last movement, in which they're imitating the brass, I had them doing ohs and ahs, imitating the sort of trumpet flare or trombone flares, trombone slides that you might hear from a brass section.